All right, everybody, welcome back to yet again another 2022-2023 season preview today. And we're moving on to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the most loved but the most hated team in the NHL, as I would say, personally, because they have the biggest fan base, but they also have the biggest hatred against them. So they are that type of team. So obviously, here last season was a great season for Toronto, definitely, but same result. First round exit. They went 54, 21, and 7 for 115 points. They had scored 315 goals and only let in 253, and they lost in round one against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They gave it their all, though. I will give them that. They did give it their all, comparatively speaking to the 2021 series against the Montreal Canadiens. They really did put in a lot more effort. I thought this team was a lot better all around. And I feel bad. I feel bad that this team kind of, lost yet again in the first round, and it sucks, but I think that, maybe with maybe another year or so, maybe they can try yet again and get past the first round this year. So looking at your leading scorer, you had Austin Matthews with 60 goals, 46 assists for 106 points. And your goaltender was Jack Campbell with a 31-9-6 record with a 2.64 goals against average. Very good season there Jack Campbell kind of had some ups and downs, was injured. He wasn't looking too good at one point. But obviously for Matthews, it was a good season all around. He just dominated, scoring goal after goal after goal after goal. He was playing unbelievable. And, he definitely earned the 60 goals nonetheless. But with yet again another first-round exit, we saw yet again a huge offseason for the Maple Leafs. Their departures: Jack Campbell, Ilya Mikheyev, Jason Spezza, Andre Cosse, and Peter Mrazek. Something we've seen become common in the past 3 years is that entire goaltending tandem is gone. So obviously there, Campbell is out, Mrazek's out, and you have two brand new guys coming in. They obviously lost some depth players. Mikheyev was a solid middle six forward. Never could really get the ice time he wanted in Toronto, which, I mean, if you're playing on a team that has Matthews, Marner, Nylander, such an elite team like Toronto, it is pretty difficult to get at least top six minutes out there. So it made sense why he left. Spezza obviously retired, and Cosse was a depth forward who didn't see much time in the NHL, so obviously he's moved off to Carolina. Your acquisitions, on the other hand, are some players that I actually don't really mind. Kale Yarncrux, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Adam Gaudette, Matt Murray, and Ilya Samsonov. So they are quite an interesting team. Obviously there, Yarncrux will be a solid middle six type forward. Nicholas Aube-Kubel will probably be like a fourth line grit type player. And then obviously you have your goaltending tandem there in Murray and Samsonov, which we will get into in a second. Anyways, looking at your projected lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs, you have Michael Bunting, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Alex Kerfoot, John Tavares, and William Nylander all in that top six. So obviously, that is an elite top six. Obviously there you got Matthews, 60-goal scorer. You got Marner, you got Nylander. You got some elite players on that top six. Got to be one of the best in the NHL, definitely. Bunting does kind of get overrated a little bit, but I think he still is a solid player nonetheless. I think without Matthews, he'll probably be like at best a second liner, to be honest. But anyways, not that bad on the top six. You look at the bottom six there, you have Pierre Engvall, David Kampf, Kale Yarncrux. Then you have Nicholas Robertson, Adam Gaudette, and Nicholas Aube-Kubel. Then for some depth players, excuse me, you have Kyle Clifford, Nick Abruizi, probably said that wrong, and Wayne Simmons there as well. So I like that bottom six. We're going to see, obviously, come and see Nicholas Robertson get his first shot, or like his first legitimate chance at an NHL spot with Toronto. They're obviously very solid forward. Should do well with the Maple Leafs this coming season. You obviously have some new players down there: Gaudette, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, and Kale Yarncrux. We'll see how they do. Definitely, they're probably three interesting players that could really surprise us, definitely, and I like all three of them, so we'll see what they can do with their respective teams. You look at the defense there, you have Morgan Riley and TJ Brody on that first pairing. You have Jake Muzzin and Justin Hall on that second pairing. Then you have Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren on that third pairing. Then for an extra defender, I just put Mark Giordano because that's what I had listed. But obviously, guys like Jordy Ben, Victor Mete, some new acquisitions, and then Carl Dahlstrom as well will also come into the fold. So you do have some players, definitely some defensemen there to work with for Toronto. But obviously there, Sandin has not been signed to a contract yet. We're still waiting for that. That's one of the things we got to wait for. I like that defense. That top 4 overall is pretty solid. Hall had his points of where he didn't look too good, but I think he's still a solid defenseman. And then for your goaltending tandem, you have Murray and Samsonov and then Eric Colgren, or however you say it, as your third string goaltender. I don't like that tandem. I don't like that tandem at all. If a Jack Campbell, Peter Mrazek tandem couldn't fly in Toronto, then I'd sure as heck a Matt Murray, Ilya Samsonov, tandem is not going to last. No way. It is unfortunate. It is going to be interesting, definitely. And I put Matt Murray on my bounce-back candidates on my TikTok, but I don't think he's going to really impress Toronto fans as much as he thinks he's going to, as much as they think he's going to. So we'll see. But that tandem, to me, it's not promising. But I've been wrong in the past. So, anyways, moving on to your biggest question here: how will the tandem do? I kind of just touched base on that, so we'll leave it at that. Is this year the year? And we've been asking that question for so freaking long, and we're gonna ask it again. Well, honestly, I think what it depends on, again, is who they play in the first round. If they play a team like Tampa, let's say, it might be a little bit more difficult. If they play a team like, I don't know, Detroit, which is less experienced in the playoffs, or maybe even Ottawa. See the Battle of Ontario, that would be a lot of fun. Maybe they could overcome those two teams, but personally, it really depends on what team they're playing. And that is the interesting thing there with Toronto, and they really need to just get over the hump. Last year was promising. I will definitely say that last year was very promising for the Leafs. They fought all the way till the end, and I think that should give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think that should say this team's definitely getting better, but I think maybe this year could finally be the year where they break out of it. And when that time happens, hockey world's going to explode. You can count on it. Anyways, looking at your point projection here, according to the Hockey News' fantasy guide, you have Austin Matthews leading the way with 115 points. Holy crap. Then you have Mitch Marner in second with 102. Then you take a big dip down to John Tavares with 80. Then you have William Nylander with 75. And then you have Morgan Riley with 65. So, not that bad. I like that overall for Toronto, obviously. Matthews will obviously lead the way in scoring. Marner will obviously be second because he'll be like half of Matthews' assists. So, that's a good thing there. And then obviously you have your other players there in Tavares, Nylander, and Riley. So, I like that top 5 overall for points. Your sleeper or your bust is actually Alex Kerfoot. Kerfoot will get a chance to cash in with free agency looming, but his 51-point breakout may be his ceiling. His production is dependent on how John Tavares plays in his age 32 season, and Kerfoot gets no power play time to pad his stats. That does make a lot of sense. Kerfoot is a free agent after this coming season, so he could get a chance to get a payroll, which he may not get in Toronto. Not because Toronto doesn't want to give it to him, but because Toronto can't give it to him, so that definitely plays a role there, obviously. So we'll see how Alexander Kerfoot does this season. You look at their cup odds. Their cup odds are 15-1, so that is, I think, the lowest we've covered so far. Anyways, here reading the brass, which I think is like about management. I learned that yesterday with the Canucks. Echoing his GM stay the course sentiments, persistent Brendan Shanahan has cited his turn off the millennium Detroit teams as a template for avoiding reactive roster moves. Matthew could sign an extension as soon as next summer, so it's easier to imagine him re-upping if there's a playoff progress. So surely he'll be offered a record-breaking pact the day he becomes eligible. Front office shuffling saw Dubas elevate, Haley Wickenheiser, Ryan Hardy, and Darren Metcalf to assistant GM roles. So we'll obviously see how those guys do. Now time for the big question. Do they make the playoffs? Without a question, yes. Do they make it past the first round is the question that we will be asking yet again for Toronto fans. So we'll see what they can do. We'll see if they get past the first round. But anyways, again, it really depends. And I think this team, and I said this with Colorado with the second round, and somebody commented I may have blown that over proportions a little bit. I think I did. But I think that if this team can get past the first round, I think they can go all the way. And I stand by that until they get past the first round and they go all the way. Because I think this team has the numbers, they have the depth, they have the defense, they have the offense. Goaltending's a little bit sketchy for me, but I think they can definitely hold out. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For all your supporters of late, I really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below if you are new. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.